So why don't we start off with you introducing who you are and what department you're in.
I'm Christine Edmondson. I'm from the psychology department.
What are you expecting from the workshop today?
I'm expecting to learn a lot about information literacy, some assignments that can help me promote information literacy among my undergraduate students.
Okay. Why are you interested in information literacy?
It's a foundation skill for any college graduate. College graduates need to be able to find information quickly and easily. They also need to be able to find good information. And the sources they typically go to when they have their first shot at getting information might not be the best, so they need to recognize that. And then in psychology, a lot of times we do teach them to use a search engine called PsycInfo. But there's so much more information out there, and in their jobs after graduation, they might find it more appropriate to use other kinds of sources than the ones they find on PsycInfo. And I like to teach them about that.
Thank you. What is the state of information literacy in your field?
I'm not really sure. I would guess that, it varies. A lot of psychologists, I guess, who have the training level, the graduate training level, don't actually even read literature. So when they do, I think they probably go to trade journals. So that's the good news about the people in my field. The undergraduates who graduate, I'm not sure what they're doing with information. My guess is that they're going to be in jobs where they do some program evaluation, program design, and that's where they need to be able to go and find the best information quickly and easily. They won't have time to do a full literature review when they're doing this. They're going to have to find good secondary sources to do that kind of work.
Okay. And our final question, what do you expect to take away from this workshop?
I'm hoping to have some good thoughts about how to integrate information literacy, how to integrate information literacy into my multicultural psychology class.
Can you tell us about that class and what that's about?
Well, that class I've designed as really having two priorities for my students. One is critical thinking, and then the other is a little self-awareness and development in the realm of understanding their own ethnicity and how that might affect their relationships with other people, both personally and professionally. So that's the personal development piece. And information literacy is a big part of critical thinking. So understanding source and bias, or source and context bias, I guess that's what I was trying to say, is really important in that area.
Thank you. Can you please start by introducing yourself and saying what department you're from?
Sure. I'm Toni Line, and I'm in the English department.
Thank you. Okay, our first question is, what are you expecting from the workshop today?
I think I'm expecting to learn a lot more about the way digital media is being used in the humanities.
Why are you interested in information literacy?
Well, because it's a trend, what can I say? I mean, I want to stay current with what's happening in my field, so.
What is the state of information literacy in your field in English?
Well, I think we've always been involved in information literacy to some extent because English has always required a tremendous amount of research. It's just that we no longer have card catalogs to work with. So I just think that the medium through which we do information literacy has changed, but that it's always been curriculum in English studies.
Okay. And then final question, what do you expect to take away from this workshop?
Well, I'm hoping to take away a renewed syllabus for the course that I'm going to teach in the fall.
Great. Okay, thank you, Tom.
Jen is going to make some welcoming remarks, and this session is going to be videotaped for those that weren't able to make it. So if anyone is not going to be videotaped, generally it'll just be the speakers. Let us know in case if there's a scam. Okay. Then please join me in welcoming Jen.
I'm just curious, how many departments are represented?
Four.
There's 4 departments. There's psychology,
Linguistics, English, and nursing.
what was the second one?
Linguistics.
Linguistics, okay. Thank you so much for coming here. And I bring you greetings and gratitude from both myself, but also from the provost and the president. And you should know that this is an initiative that they both are care about, especially because of our students and the fact that the internet and Google and Wikipedia and all of these places make information ubiquitous for students, and even though they may be technologically savvy, they may not yet have adopted the skills of critical thinking and analysis relative to your disciplines. So it's really important for us as professors and for you in your role in the teaching of students is to help them distinguish what is in fact a credible source and how do these credible sources contribute to their understanding and integration of the information that applies in your discipline and for your field. So it's very important that you're continuing with this effort. And in fact, I haven't talked to this yet with Monica about, but one thing that we would like to perhaps do is create an ESILI Hall of Fame. And on the website, you guys will be listed as Hall of Famers and your departments. And we'd like to post, we did this partially for last year's ESILI recipients, as we posted their outcomes, their little reports, as well as some of their assignments for what they've been doing. And I'll just give you a case in point is Women's Studies actually worked with Bang Bang. Where's Bang? It's right here. Bang Bang. And Bang Bang produced a beautiful website for women's studies. And in that particular discipline is very important because even though we don't have a lot of women's studies majors, huge numbers of students take their GE courses. And so those students had the opportunity to learn how to sort through all of the hype and hyperbole that's sometimes on the web about women's studies issues and how to synthesize that in light of what is considered women's studies academic scholarship. Right? And those are two different things because anyone can have an opinion about women's studies, but how do you analyze that relative to the scholarly canon in the field? So that is Bang Bang contributed greatly in that, so students can go to the website and actually see resources, materials, and so forth. So these are things that I encourage you to consider, in your own departments as well. And so we're very, very appreciative that you're involved in this, and we're excited that Stephanie's here. Stephanie's an outstanding resource in the Chancellor's Office, has national reputation in this area, and she graciously agreed to come here to produce this day and a half of workshop with you. And I think the great thing about Stephanie's agenda for you in the next day and a half is that she'll present you with information, then she'll give you some time to start work on it. So when you leave here after a day and a half, you'll actually have
Day.
Oh, day.
Just day.
This is a
Yeah.
day.
Don't scare them.
Okay.
There's something I don't know.
I get it confused with our other training sessions. So yeah, within a day, that you'll leave here with something started, so you can actually finish it and create your assignments that you can involve your students with. And I'm really curious to see when you implemented it. How did it go? Did you think that students' ability to approach information has been improved in what ways, and to keep tinkering at that, because we can always improve any assignment really relative to our students. So thank you again. I hope you have a wonderful day, and you're in good hands because Monica's with you. So thank you again.
We were hoping that our dean would be able to make it, but since he hasn't, I have a recording of his presentation at the ESILI reception. So when you all are finished with your projects, you'll all be honored at a reception in which you'll be talking about the results of what you've done. So I'm just going to play this for you.
I asked him the other day, where do you see the library in the university? And he said without a heartbeat that the library has to be the leader in terms of academic technology, and it really resonated with me. I want to keep my other, and so thank you, Bill, our provost. It really was heartening to hear that, and I felt it was a sincere comment, and I think he's, through ESILI and other things, that he has certainly put his money where his comments were. My comments henceforth are, I hope, simple but heartfelt. I want to really thank Ellen John for her recognition of how important it is for the Office of the Provost to partner with the library. The library is really a fulcrum point where the old model of sort of library as place, collections surrounded by services, really no longer holds true, although we still do many of those things. We really are now the co-partners in the entire process of thinking what pedagogy is and in how faculty do their research. We want to be your partners in that process, so that we are in the classroom, whether there's a librarian even in the building. And that's the key of the future of what our profession's all about, is to get that sense of library content, literacy through tutorials, all kinds of technological innovation, to make the classroom come alive with what we have in traditional sense in the library. So Ellen, thank you for being a leader in your vision. I really appreciate that. But most heartfelt, I just want to thank my 5 faculty who, I have to say, I take no credit. This was their work, their invention. It was their entrepreneurship and their moxie and their dedication to this process that made this successful. And I want to thank especially Monica Fusek for leading it, our head of the Information Outreach Services, who's done a wonderful job there and is really one of our technology leaders in the library. Ross Labaugh, one of our reference librarians, Jim McGee, similarly, Kimberly Robles-Smith, our head of collections, and if you use anything via collections, that's the person to thank, and Vang Vang, who is a librarian who's a partner in Information Outreach Services with Monica. To all of you, thank you so much. You well deserve the commendation you got from the president on this. And to all the faculty willing to step up and work with my faculty, this is the future. I really believe it. And I think Dennis is convinced of that. Certainly Ellen is. I am. My faculty are. The provost has obviously voiced that appreciation. But if you're willing to go out and share, I hope that this was a worthwhile experience. We'd like eventually to have every faculty member on campus to have this experience. My own faculty especially, thank you, and to all the others. I really appreciate your work.
So you all have a packet with the agenda of what's going to happen today. And let me turn that squeaky sound down. What we're going to be doing today is, sort of as Ellen said, it's not just going to be a passive experience, it's going to be very active. Stephanie and I are going to be presenting information and then having hands-on time for you to work with your groups and your librarians. So by the end of the day, you will have created a learning outcome for your class and an activity. So I just want to go over some of the housekeeping information. We've got, as you can see, the agenda. We don't have where the breaks are. We will have them just based on energy flow, so there will be a morning and afternoon break. Lunch is at noon, but the rest of the time we have our activities here, and behind your agenda are the activity sheets with the sample syllabi, and then we're going to be passing out the ESILI standards, a textbook that will help you embed activities into your syllabus. So what else do we have over there? Article, okay, good. Restrooms, if you don't know, you can go out, make a right, both men's and women's are against the wall there. Feel free to help yourself to any beverages and bring them back in. And what I want to do now is introduce my friend and colleague from the CSU, Stephanie Sterling Brazeley. Stephanie has over 20 years of professional experience. She's been in the trenches as a reference librarian, as an instruction librarian. She's worked with undergraduates, graduates, faculty, and administration in university settings at the campus and system levels. Currently, she's the manager of information literacy initiatives for the whole CSU. She develops initiatives that forward information/ICT literacy goals. She's presented and written on a variety of information and ICT literacy related topics, including effective pedagogical practices, outreach assessment of student learning, and as a passionate teacher and trainer, she is committed to furthering student engagement and learning by helping students to be successful information producers, consumers, and problem solvers.